Hello everyone, welcome to another video for the One Piece trading card game. In this video, we will be reviewing the final leader from the first set, Romance Dawn, Blue Purple Crocodile. Let's begin. Crocodile is a special attribute, 7 Warlords of the Sea and Baroque Works traits leader. He is blue and purple, which means he'll only start with 4 life. Crocodile's ability says, Dawn X1, after you activate an event, you may draw 1 card if you have 4 or less cards in your hand, and you haven't drawn a card from this leader's ability this turn. Blue Purple Crocodile is really good at keeping card advantage. He draws a card not only on his turns, but his opponent's turns, which makes him a great control leader, being able to keep cards in his hand for counter or for drawing into new events to get their effects. Out of all of the 2-color leaders in the first set, I think Crocodile is probably the best. Kaido is a very close second, but I think the extra card advantage that Crocodile brings with him outweighs the extra ramp that Kaido has. If you can get to the late game on Crocodile, you can definitely win as easy as Kaido can. But Kaido can easily get to that point with his ability, so you have to build a little different to make sure you can reach that point in the game where you have 10 done. Now we have a deck list for Blue Purple Crocodile. This deck is 4 Miss All Sunday, 4 Set 1 Jack, 4 Starter Deck Dracul Mihawk, 4 Set 1 Boa Hancock, 4 Set 1 X-Drake, 4 Starter Deck Queen, 2 Starter Deck King, 2 Set 1 King, 3 Set 1 Crocodile, 3 Set 1 Dracul Mihawk, 3 Desert Spada, 4 Love Beam, 4 Overheat, 3 All-Star Calamities, and 2 Bronchio Bomber. As you can see, we have a lot of events, and there are a lot of events. No other deck in the game should be playing this number of events, but because we are Blue Purple Crocodile, we can get away with it. We can turn these events into cards with our leader's ability, and really just get through our deck. This deck has a sub-theme of discarding cards from our opponent, which there is another deck as well. I will show a second deck, and that deck has the same idea. But really, it's just trying to keep card advantage over your opponent. Having strong removal spells, like the Bronchio Bomber, or removal characters, like both Kings and the Mihawk, are just to make sure we can keep card advantage over our opponent and keep a strong board. The other late game threat in this deck, Crocodile, is here because all of our counters are blue, so that can give us a big discount on our opponent's turns, and Critical is extremely strong because it stops our opponents from getting any cards. Some of the other key cards in the deck, Jack and X-Drake are here to make our opponents discard cards. Jack does it on swing and X-Drake does it on play. Don't worry about the minus Dawn ability because in the late game it won't matter as much, since you can just easily minus 1 Dawn from X-Drake and get it back next turn, and you can already have spent the Dawn you're putting back with Jack, so it's not too bad. Dracul Mihawk and Boa Hancock are some pretty good 4-cost card draw. Boa is a great blocker, and Mihawk is a 2k. Queen is also really good card draw, another Dawn -1, but with a 6k blocker on it. It lets us see 2 cards, and it lets us get rid of some cards that we might not need in certain matchups. The last card that we really have to talk about is Miss All Sunday. This card will be in the other list as well, but the main reason to play Crocodile is really just for this card. This is a 3-cost 1k blocker. They are Baroque Works, and they have counter 1000, but that's not really why you're playing the card. They have an effect that says on KO, if your leader is Baroque Works, which Crocodile is the only Baroque Works leader, both Crocs, you get to put an event from your discard pile into your hand, which means you can use her to block, get back something you need, like a level of Beam or an Overheat, to be able to survive to your next turn. This deck just wants to keep card advantage over your opponent, and I can't really stress that enough, because that is how you're going to be winning your games, making your opponent discard or drawing tons of cards. Next is a deck list for a Baroque Works variant of Blue Purple Crocodile. This deck has 4 Mr. 1 Daz Bonds, 4 Mr. 3 Galdino, 4 Miss All Sunday, 4 Mr. 2 Bon Clay Bentham, 3 Set 1 Jack, 4 Set 1 X-Drake, 3 Set 1 Crocodile, 3 Set 1 Jakul Mihawk, 4 Baroque Works, 4 Desert Spada, 4 Love Love Beam, 4 Overheat, 3 Officer Agents, and 2 Sables. Just like in the first deck, I want to start by looking at the events, but this time let's look at the events more in depth. Desert Spada is a card seen in the first deck I showed you, but I didn't really explain why it's here. Not only is it a Baroque Works event, which is a bit more important with Mr. 2 in our deck, being able to get Baroque Works events, Desert Spada lets us set up the top of our deck, so we know what we're drawing with our Crocodile ability. The reason there was only 3 in the first deck is because we didn't really have the card draw synergy to be able to get it, but since Mr. 2 and Baroque Works can find Desert Spada, I thought bumping it up to 4 would have been a really good idea. Baroque Works is a good one-cost event that can be free with our Crocodile and is the deck searcher, similarly to how Nami and 2 Years is in red, and I guess Purple got one in the film deck, but I'm not including those in these deck lists right now. So with that, we have a really good event package, especially with Officer Agents. This is a card that wasn't in the first deck because it really is only good with a Baroque Works package in the deck. This is a 2-cost counter with the effect counter. Put a Baroque Works character with cost 3 or less from your hand into play. The trigger is just using its counter effect. This is really strong because not only do we get 2 cards out of our hand to make the Croc draw a little easier to hit, but we can bring in a blocker like Miss All Sunday. We can bring in a just negate with Mr. 3, or we can bring in a really good late game threat like Mr. 1. We don't really want to put Mr. 2 in play because he's a 2K, but if we do have to, we can use him to get an event later. Really, you want to just be cycling through your deck to find your late game threats like Croc and Mihawk, and Daz Bonds, who is a threat only in the late game. Galdino's some really good protection. Jack and X-Drake make their return, being really good synergy because card advantage is king for Blue Purple Crocodile. But there really isn't much else to say. This is just a straightforward aggro deck that somehow has a lot of protection. So we are at the end of the video, but not the end of the series. We still have Yuta and Shanks to review, as well as everything coming out inside of Set 2. I won't post any of these Set 2 until we see the whole set, because obviously it needs to be tested. But we still have 2 videos coming up, and hopefully we'll have a lot of Set 2 by then, so maybe we could start putting some ideas down. I also want to say, starting with today, if this goes up on Thursday, which it should, I'll probably be streaming on YouTube now. I streamed on Twitch before, but I never really had it linked to the channel, but it's really just going to be some more variety. I don't know if I'm going to stream One Piece. Feel free to ask me questions, obviously. I don't mind asking questions about the game. while I'm streaming, but we're not going to be mainly streaming One Piece. It's going to be more casual games, or it's going to be a lot of variety, really. But I just wanted to let you know on this channel, this YouTube channel, we will be streaming starting Thursday. Currently, I only plan to stream on Thursdays, but that's because I have a pretty busy schedule. But other than that, I think it'll be pretty fun. So, with that said, I hope you all enjoyed. And I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.